because that's what's going to be there. So, examples of matches.
Well, when you're saying something sad and you...
Very good.
It with your, with
Very good.
Sad,
yes.
rather than laughing.
Absolutely. Yes. What else?
If the client's speaking about hardship or struggle, and they could be biting their lip or doing something.
That's going to be a process signal.
Oh, so that's a process, not...
Well, because you don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
For example, biting, you want to ask them to try and talk while they're doing it, because there's a likelihood that it's a part saying you shouldn't be talking about this. But you've got to remember, only they know the meaning. So you have to get them curious about what's this. And it might be, what are the teeth doing to the lip? Oh, the teeth are trying to stop. Can you see you're getting them curious about what's going on? Because you can't really know. Yes, 40 years experience tells me that there's a likelihood, but you want to assume that maybe that's not it. You have to get them, because if you tell them, they'll just go, oh yes, that's what it is. And it might not be because they're compliant. Yes? There was something about what you were saying. Just say it again.
Well, I was going to say, what about if they're hurting? Is it
That's
same?
that's the thing. To actually go, you want to ask them when they're doing something, which is, let's say they're doing this, whether that's soothing or hurting. Because it could be either. Like they could be, tightening it, and that could be a distraction from whatever's happening. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Sensitivities.
Yes.
When does that, I'm trying to think of when someone, what would you notice sensitivities? And
Well, I don't know. What did you notice in the last part of the work that Charlene did? When she's working with the parts at the back.
That's her being sensitive to the parts.
Very
I know,
good.
but I just meant when they first come in.
Well, I don't know. Well, you might notice, someone being sad and crying about it.
Okay, so that's
You might have someone. I had someone this week who it's like, oh, my dog has to go and have an operation. I'm really wanting to make. Can you hear? It's all very sensitive.
Okay.
But later on, you'll notice the same person who goes, oh, but I'm not going to say anything to my husband even when he does disappear for 4 days. Can you hear how that sounds sensitive in the way it's delivered, but every part of the content is insensitive? Yes? Cool. What was your one? You No, but the very act of not having one was useful. You were looking for a disturbance, and you noticed something.
Yeah,
So looking for a disturbance is content. I'm looking for content. Where's my content? And then what did you notice?
That a part of me goes, oh.
Screw that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it now. Notice the love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you see the? Did anyone make a joke?
No.
In fact, quite the opposite. It's like, oh no, I don't want to do that, and ha 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 ha, face contorting. So you want to kind of ask the question, why is the part making the face contort until I'm better than fine, especially when I'm not? Plus the signal that says, I don't want to find this content. Now, can you see that there's a 36-year-old who's going, well, I'm here and I've got all these disturbances and I'd like to be able to intervene with them and I'd like to get even better than 90% results if it's possible. And obviously there's a different part, so that's the right hand. Left hand's going, no, not this, anything but this. Now, can you see that's the part you've got to work with first? Because the whole basis of this is an agreement around comfort. You notice that a part starts to feel uncomfortable. That's a process signal, isn't it? It's not giving you content, it's not giving you a disturbance. In fact, quite the opposite. And can you see why that's the most important thing? And most counselling would just try to get you to remember something.
Yeah. So that, yeah.
So can you see that's why it's so important to be aware that these dissociative mechanisms are going to happen, and they're not a problem. They're not in the way, they're on the way.
Yeah.
Yes? Lovely signal work. Okay. What else? Any other signals of sensitivity or insensitivity? Either from your relationships or clients?
We'll be really hard on ourselves as being sensitive.
Now, I'm being really hard on myself. Can you hear it? Subject, object.
Yeah, because I thought about that after the last session, that when we ended up talking to the inner child and be nice to our inner child and ourselves, and I thought, this is crazy because I'm so the kind of person that would say to my friend, just don't say this about you.
Yes.
Be
Externally.
Yeah, and to me, I'm like,
That's it.
horrible.
Yes.
When I'm the first one, or when they do something wrong, then it's when they do something wrong, that was it.
Yeah.
So if they don't do what they're supposed to do, or
Yes.
if they do something, I'll go, oh no, that's okay.
Yes.
That's fine. Don't.
And can you
behave
see
yourself."
that's you as the 36-year-old in a sensitive moment, knowing how to be because you've learnt over time how to be sensitive
wanna
externally.
upset
And it's
them.
completely out of relationship because it's below the line of dissociation of the part of you that goes, no, that's not how we do it in here.
Yeah, and it pisses me off, but I don't say it, and then I just double it on myself.
Now, can you see, and notice the laugh?
Yes.
Just, I mean, because this is perfect signal work. Because can you see how repetitive it is? Not only that, but infectious. Like, because we all go into the conspiracy of, I won't show you up for what's going on with you, and you won't show me up for what's going on with me. But of course, if you're going to be in the lab of the healing and a conflict counselling room, you're going to put everything under the microscope because you want to know everything there is to know. If you're going to do the jigsaw puzzle, you want to have every piece and you want to have it turned over so that you can see how they can fit together. And can you see this is becoming very clear to you? And can you see this is a part trained by, in your case, dad, granddad, who's been internalized, who goes, yeah, and a part that goes, yeah, but I know you're meant to do this, but it's completely dissociated. And can you see why we call it dissociated developed adult? That was a dissociated developed child, but after you were just expressive and when training happened. So why don't we take some examples of a disturbance and we'll just run through what mechanism's going on and just vaguely go to, okay, what would need to happen internally to intervene, very superficially, from the point of view of just getting a sense of practicing signals. So you've already started, so I'm looking at you guys.
I can start with an easy one. So when I cut my finger, that only happened because I was triggered. So I had a singing lesson, I had an hour, then I had Zoom, and I was very anxious about the time, and the kids I felt not heard by the children. And then I sliced into my finger, and when I held it like this, and then my daughter, in a sensitive way, said, "Mummy, what happened? Are you okay?" And I screamed at her in an insensitive way. What do you think happened?
As opposed to screaming in a sensitive way.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the mechanism?
Adolescent.
And how would we work with that? Like, what's going to need to happen to go from one moment in time here, which is cutting and shouting, and one moment here, where did that part get that part from?
The training would have been upbringing of being criticised for, when I would always be sensitive to my mum and care for her a lot, I felt always feel like that would be misunderstood, and I would maybe perhaps in a way be pushed to the side and projected on, if that makes sense.
And try to go one layer deeper to what the behaviour is when the projecting on is happening.
So is that criticism?
Well, I don't know, you tell me
I
what
would
it is
say-
that she's doing when she's projecting on.
So she's putting the scary mum mask on,
Yeah, okay.
and I would say it's criticising unless,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that's what I would go with.
But you want to just, see, projecting on doesn't tell you what it is. Criticising does. And it's just that you go all the way down the road until you know exactly what's being said, because people are going to say stuff like disrespectful and not the behaviour. Projected on, but not the behaviour. So you always want to get to, do I know what a video camera would see in this moment? That's how you know when you're there, because you've got a who, what, when, where. Do you follow? Not only that, did you notice that we ended up with a match? What's the match, they ask? Her behaviour, mum's behaviour. Like, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And you'll have things like people go, yeah, well, you know, my husband's been, you know, unfaithful to me, and then you'll start taking a history and you'll hear, oh yeah, well, you know, my dad was a bit of a philanderer. That's a match. And you want to be noticing that, because they won't put the two together. In terms of what they will have seen or heard from oral history, what they will have had to do with that in order to put it to the side of their plate and eat their peas, the level of dissociation, why it is that they're going to be attracted to a partner who's got that in a back room that's going to trigger the stuff that wasn't able to be healed then and that is only able to be healed now, only because the infidelity is happening. Not that you would wish infidelity on anyone, and not that it excuses what the guy's doing. But can you see, you have to see the bigger picture in terms of what's actually trying to happen here. And it's not like the woman's choosing someone knowing ahead of time they're going to be like that. No, they choose a particular thing, which is probably how the dad was, which was very charismatic, and behind the scenes was, yeah, not so fabulous. Because we all have a shop front and a back room. Very good. You got one?
I suddenly had like several.
And they've all gone.
Why don't you use the one of today?
Well, hold on, because this is such a good
Oh, the one that
example.
we were going to use.
Yes, hold on.
Oh, okay, yes.
No.
Time out.
Just noticing the one that's already present, me thinking that there's several and then boom.
That's right. Because this is going to happen a lot, where it's like the part of you that wants to get to content, that's got the idea. Because when someone's coming in and telling you their stuff, you're going to be going, chuk, 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 putting them in the little containers. And you're going to want to, when you go, and so, da-da-da-da-da, whatever the question is, and they're going, oh, you know, and you want to go, what about this one? Like, I was so tempted, you know, because we talked about stuff before, to bring in. And you have to keep it on a shelf and follow whatever's there, including nothing.
So you work with nothing, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Ooh, well,
What?
that's interesting.
Yes. What's another word for nothing?
Dissociative mechanism.
Yeah, the whole point of turning something into nothing. I mean, most of the most extreme dissociators they ever worked with who taught me this stuff came in with nothing. They came in, oh, I'm having a few problems with my husband. 6 months later, it's like, oh, well, yes, I was part of a child sex slave ring and la, 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 la. But nothing. You go, yes, absolutely. You want to follow the nothing. Like, because what you're describing is, now I see it, now I don't. And you're going to find the other one, which is now I don't see it, now I do. Which is because it's literally just behind the shower screen. That people talk in terms of mysteriousness and subconscious. No, it's just behind a little layer of, or a big layer, or many layers of dissociation. So you want to go with the, where did it go? Because wouldn't you want to get curious? I was right there, and then it disappeared, because that's not random. Because you want to be interested in the part that went, rather than giving them the fish. Help them to learn how to fish. It's so tempting. And it's a real practice to just sit with and let the process happen in the way that it happens, because clients to such a large degree are going to follow. They're going to be compliant, and you want to kind of step back, because they're going to see you as the authority figure, and they're going to be looking like they look when they were a kid to their parents for, what are you expecting of me? And even if it's not even said, they're going to be looking for your micro signals to go, which is why when I'm working with people with the cards, I'll look at the cards and I'll start moving towards them, and I'm going, what the heck? And you know you're dealing with someone who is wildly over-compliant. And of course, it's not over-compliant, it's their level of compliant, only relative to a bell curve. And you always want to notice over and under. It's just their version of. Yes? So, now, what was the signal? Oh, now, yeah, now, can you see signal on top of, signals the laughing, then the don't look at the signals. And can you see, and this is a really good example, because in a situation like this, you actually want to start to pull back. When you start to see layer and layer over, you want to go, this person's not that comfortable. No matter how wonderful they look on the outside, child parts are going, ah, don't push Johnny out on the stage. So you want to kind of pull back, because just because you're having a fabulous time noticing all these signals going, isn't this? They're dying inside, and you want them to feel comfortable. So you kind of pull back and start to talk about the very process that's happening and going, I noticed that, that disappeared, and then when we talked about them disappearing, there was laughter, and then there was a sense of, oh, don't see me when there's, and just kind of pause to reflect on that, including getting the person to come into a different position and look at that and go, what's she like, that 5 minute ago version of you? What's going on inside her? So that you're actually getting a sense of, oh, well, I wonder what that's like. Like, I'm going to get you a little chair. So come and sit here for a second. Notice the laugh, because you want to notice how consistent it is. It's not random. It's not like these parts think up magical new ways of dissociating. It's the same every time. And that's the thing that you can begin to have confidence with. That says, oh my God, look at these. I only have a few, but I use them almost all day. Do you follow? And it tells you then, when you know how to work with that one, you're working with millions. Chipping away. So, what's going on for her when she's lost what she had, and there's the laughter, and there's the don't see the laughter,
A fear of exposure.
Fear of exposure. Now, we want to just finish the sentence. Fear of exposure to, notice the eye rolling, because it's going to follow you to here, including the laughing. But can you see, we've only got you here to help her.
Okay. Yes.
So we're not trying to make it even worse here. Yes? But to also notice that just because your body's moved, that process isn't going to disappear. But there's just peeling away a little layer for you to be able to see those signals and go, okay, what do they mean to her?
So
There's a fear of exposure to criticism.
Fear of
Yeah.
fear of the sensation of
Yeah.
fear.
Well, fear of
Pain.
what the pain, which is likely to be sadness. Because can you see that the
Actually, it's
fear?
overwhelm.
Yes. Now,
That's what it is.
that's what it is. Override of seemingly overwhelming
Yes,
feelings.
there's this sense
And can
of
you
it's gonna
see
be overwhelming.
there is a part doing a fabulous job of distracting
Yep.
with all sorts of manner of things. So can you see on a certain level, it's just doing its job.
But it's like there's a part of me who doesn't know how to cope or deal with overwhelm.
Of course.
And it's like it's going to happen.
But
and
can
then
you see
what
that the
will-
part
what
of
will
you
they
talking
do?
to me now
Yes.
is interested?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Now that's the 0.5%, and that's all you need. But do you notice that 5 minutes ago it wasn't there? And 5 minutes later, peeling away just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of associatedness, you start to talk about impulse to want to help. Because you're talking about, she's like this, and So you've got a sense of overwhelm. But when you're describing it, you're not in it. 100%. Yeah, can you see?
You feel a little bit of it.
Yes, well, probably 99, but not 100. But when you were there, it was 100, and it's the difference between dissociated and associated, and it's just that overview. And can you see why the movement itself is very different? Because if I tried to get you to notice it there, it's still happening there. So you need that little bit, 1 minute, 1 meter, but it makes all the difference in terms of your experience, yes? Now can you see it matters not at all what it is that you forgot, because you've got such a lot of information from it. And can you see why it's so important to follow the absence? And hard to do.